Name is SPH Hawkwolf. I'm part of the clan SPH Sniper Pain Heaven. For this video, I'm going to be going over some basic sniping stuff that I learned when I was playing this game. We're going covering know your spots. Each map can be broken up into different spots. How to hide, what's the best ways that you can hide so you don't get shot or found. How to shoot and when and where to shoot. Using distance to determine targets. Common mine locations, and also some of my personal spots. Just so you know that Garden and Kramer are here to help me, so you can give your thanks to them. Nothing further ado, let's move on. Knowing your spots is very important in this game. And what I mean by knowing your spots, well, each map can be broken up into different locations. Example, from here I can see the 88. This is a common spot. This building here is also a spot. That building over there, there, and there's many spots that you can shoot from. The spots that you tend to want to be at are the ones that has good angles on most of the map, or at least the common spots where enemy goes to. The spots that you find to be useful for that is usually on the edge of the map. On this one, this building still counts mostly because this mountain helps cover on different locations. You don't want a spot to be too exposed. Now each spot, and you have to keep in mind, is counters another spot and is countered by another spot. From here, I can shoot into whoever's in this building on the rooftop fairly easily. They can still shoot at me, but I actually have a slight advantage on them because I can see more of them. I can see them easier than they can see me. And on that same note, this person here actually has the advantage on me because it's harder for me to look over there without being shot, and he doesn't have the same problem looking at mine. Whenever you are looking for spots, always keep in mind about who can see you and who you can see. Firstly, if you want to know which spots the enemies could be at, you can also use your allies' position to figure out where the enemy is going to be. If, for example, these two buddies here are actually allies, here and here, then I know there's a good chance that the enemy could be either at the 88 over here, or maybe even at the tents over here. I have to keep in mind that the game most of the time does not spawn the enemy near your allies. Most of the time. That's not always 100% guaranteed. Also, unless they're actually actively looking, a lot of the enemies are going to be close together and are most likely not going to be near your allies. So you look at the spots that your allies are at, and there's a good chance, not 100%, but there's a good chance that there's not going to be an enemy nearby unless you see evidence to provide otherwise. You can use that to figure out where you should be looking. New section. We're going to be covering out how to hide. There's two type of locations that you can hide at. There's one I call Overwatch, and the other one is a selective. I call it selective. Overwatch is like the spot I'm at. You can see most of the map. However, when you pop up to shoot, everybody can see you as well. Just keep in mind, if you can see a spot, that means that spot can see you. So this is a kind of spot that you do not want to be looking binocs a lot. If you're going to do binocs, make it really quick. Do not pop up too long, and maybe you're going to have to move afterwards because people are going to notice. And you won't have a lot of protection because you won't see where it's coming from. The other spot is I call selective. For example, this person here. Now, a selective spot has a limited view, and you can control that view. It does mean that you see less of the map, but it also means that the spots that you can see, that the spots that can see you, you can see. So you can control which spots can see you, and therefore you have actually a better chance of noticing them at the same time or before that spot will notice you. One last thing also, when you're hiding, keep in mind that when you think you are hidden, you're not as hidden as you think. Example being is my friend here. So you notice that even though he's crouched against the wall, I can still see his head, and also I can see the buttstock. You do not want a weapon with a buttstock, because people can shoot that, they can tag that. Even when you think you're safe, you can still be killed that way. So he has agreed to let me shoot him. Shoot the buttstock. And as you notice, it counts as a hit. This counts on servers that does one shot, one kill servers. This won't count as much or be as dangerous for ones that doesn't do that. Also, keep in mind that there are some servers that do not allow tagging, so you're going to have to visually spot them. But once again, you can shoot the buttstock, it will count as a kill. On another note, you cannot shoot the buttstock of a primary weapon. Example, if I bring out my weapon and you can see the buttstock of my primary on my back, if an enemy will try to shoot that buttstock, it will not count as a hit. Keep that in mind. Lastly, you want to make sure that if you're in a selected spot, there are some spots that can be both. This is not a good example of that, but there are some spots that you can do both. Be both selective and Overwatch depending how you use it. It will be a good example, let's say, maybe like a block, if you can more control it. If it's a block that you can go prone behind, then and kind of leap around the corner, that's more of a selective thing, especially if you have something else that'll be blocked to view. And if you go stand up or pop up from behind that cover, that's more of an Overwatch position. So do keep in mind spots can be both at the same time depending how you use it. How to hide, the next step naturally is to know how to spot. Spotting is very similar to what I was showing earlier. You just look for the common spots. You need to be able to see where enemies are at. Go ahead and crawl in and run. Go ahead and do your running thing. It's best to keep in mind, as you can see him running across, it's best to keep in mind it's best to try to spot him with your natural eyes while in cover. While I'm in cover, I can see him, he cannot see me. Do keep that in mind. And spots that you think you're running across that people cannot see you, they can still see you. If you have really good eyes, like over here, go ahead and move, Kramer. If you have really good eyes, you can see very little details. I'm not sure if this video capture can capture it, but there is somebody over there on that roof. See, he's moving around. And if you have good enough eyes with a good enough resolution, you can see that without needing to use binocs. You don't want to exploit yourself too much. You want to keep your looking around to be as minimum as possible with your binocs. You do not want the enemy to see you. You want to make them work to shoot you. They are going to find you eventually, but you want to make them work for it. For the next part is learning how to shoot. I did show a bit earlier about shooting the buttstock. Do keep that in mind, you can shoot the buttstock. But another thing is, when you tag somebody, you want to be quick about it. Hey, where are you? There. I need you to go back to the staircase there. Croden? Yeah, there it is. And a little bit more. A little bit more up. Yes, alright. So, yeah, you're perfect right there. Alright, so, when you see somebody and you want to say, like, I can kind of see him with my eyes here. So I see him, I was like, okay, pop on my binocs, come up behind cover a little bit, tag him, switch to my primary, look through, hold my breath, and then just line it up and back into cover. That is the best way to do the shooting. This minimal exposure. He would not have a lot of time to shoot at me either. You do not want to give him a chance. The only time He would have a chance. Is either A, he's already looking at your spot, or B, you're tagged. So both in both cases they will know where you are. In the first case, he'd be ready. In the second case, he may not be ready, but he should be aware of that you coming. So you want to pay attention to the enemy. If it looks like they're looking at you, there's a good chance that you are tagged, or he knows where you're at and he's just waiting for you. That's up to you whether or not you think you can actually outshoot him. I trust on my speed, so I usually take those shots, but not everybody is that fast. If you're not that fast, just wait it out, have your own allies to shoot at the guy or something. You have to wait for the situation to change. Do not put yourself at a disadvantage. Lastly, if you do get shot, or if an ally gets shot, you can actually use a technique to figure out where an enemy is. If you have no idea where the enemy is, you can actually look at how far away that shot was. One thing to keep in mind is each map is going to have the longest shot. For example, on this map, this person here, he is at basically the longest shot that you're going to get realistically on this map, which you see here with my binocs says 228. So when he shoots me, go ahead and shoot me, Carlton. So when he shoots me, you notice it says 228. So if I'm at that spot, or if I see somebody else die from that distance, from that spot at that distance, I know where the other person is at, either ally or enemy. And I can use that to determine, it's like, okay, this is where an enemy most likely to be is, and stuff like that. That part is going to take the longest, one of the longer ones to figure out, is how far each spot is from each spot that can see each other. That's going to take some time. But do keep in mind that distance does tell you. If you say like a distance of 15 meters, then you know that person was almost right on top of him. You know that the enemy was in that spot nearby, or you got shot from somebody who snuck up on you. So when you die, do not just say give up. Notice how far away this shot was. Pay attention to which part of your body could have been shot, and pay attention to what spots would have that shot. And that usually helps also with the distance. Another thing to keep in mind is a lot of servers allows for mines, landmines, S-mines, and trip mines. Each of those three has their strengths and weaknesses. Well, the biggest thing you have to keep in mind is the spots that people typically mine. Say example, I know that there's an enemy in this building right here, right? Well, he is going to place down mines to protect himself from the likes of me coming up to try to kill him. Now, there's a couple of common spots. Like they usually place it at the base of the staircase next to that box. There's another spot which I recently found out is actually right here. Now, it doesn't look like there is anything there, but trust me, there's a landmine there, and I'm going to show you. As you can see, there was a hidden landmine there. So, if you know that there's a mine, how do you deal with it? For example, there's a guy in this tower. There's going to be a mine, typically, right at this entrance in this door. I recently found out you can place one in this dirt. However, it's very unlikely to somebody place one there due to the fact that you're kind of in the open. Nobody really wants to place a mine while in the open. You can see, if I was standing here placing the mine, that house can see me, that rock can see me, that house can see me, a bunch of places can see me. So, especially for this tower, one of the things you can do is you can shoot this barrel. You notice there's a small explosion right there, that black mark, there was a mine over there. If that barrel is destroyed, I can do is bring out my grenade, trusty grenade, and throw it. Alternatively, you can try to throw it up there if you're better. But if you throw a grenade, it will detonate. It will blow up the mine. Now, if you run into a landmine in the open, you have two choices. You can either A, shoot it, as you can see there's a landmine there, or you can B, do a very unconventional method, is to crawl over it. Go ahead, Kramer, show us what happens when you crawl over a nest mine. Now, as you notice, he didn't even flinch. He actually took no damage from that attack. For me, in this distance, if I had shot it and blown it up, I actually took some damage, 2 bars of damage. Okay, landmines, they have a smaller blast radius, but they can catch people off guard. However, once again, just like the S-mine, you can either shoot it or you can crawl over it. Go ahead and show what happens when you crawl over a landmine. Now, he is going to still take damage. It's going to be about half his health, but however, he is still going to survive. It's not the ideal way of dealing with a landmine, but if you can't afford to shoot or throw grenades, that is an option. Or maybe, you know, maybe you're moving around and you're just prone and you just happen to run into a landmine. Being prone helps to survive a landmine explosion. Last of the landmines for self-defense is the trip mine. Once again, you can shoot them, though they're a little bit harder to shoot due to the fact that you may not actually see where the explosives is at. But once again, you can crawl over it. Go ahead and show what happens when you crawl over it. Now, he still took damage. It's about the same half damage he's taken from the landmine, but he's not dead. And that's an important thing. Just a little bit extra thing here. There is stuff that you can shoot through in this game. There's also be like little weak spots that you can do. It's a couple of those I still don't know myself. You probably should do some experimentation. But here's a little freebie one. The tent here, and it's called Ghost Town. See this tent by the fireplace? You can actually shoot through this wall. I'm going to show you. Tag him. That. Said. Headshot. So do keep that in mind, that if you get killed, there's a chance that he may have shot you through a material if you did not see him. Certain woods, if they're thin enough, works. Cloth, definitely you can shoot through. In conclusion, this video, I hope that it's taught you quite a bit about some of the basics. I do want to thank Kramer and Croden here for helping me with showing this off, and we did a little bit of testing with the landmines and see what you can and cannot get away with. And yeah, a couple of my favorite spots I showed you throughout my videos, but like on this one, like going up into this tower. In general, for me, I like spots that have good broad views, since I'm kind of terrible at hiding. I like to actually have something to hide behind. I also like to use my eyes to see everything, because I tend to rely on my eyes to see targets even from off a distance, and not so much about binocs. I don't like the feeling of being exposed, so I try to keep my exposure as low as possible. Like I said, in the slider spot, it is very useful to use binocs. It's usually the preferred type of place to be to use binocs, and when you open place like this, it's not really that preferred. So yeah, I hope this video has helped you. So have a good day and good shooting.